Hey guys, it's Jen, that Catholic gamer here. Today I'm going to talk about my RCIA story. So, I was not baptized as a baby. My parents, who split up when I was really young, couldn't agree on where they wanted to have me baptized. So, later on, after they had split, I grew up in a Catholic household. We went to church sometimes, but I was never baptized. So, as an adult, I knew that I wanted to be Catholic. I had grown up with it my entire life. That was who I was, or I felt in my heart that that was who I was. So, finally, at 30 years old, I decided that I was ready to figure out how to become Catholic, because I had no idea how RCIA worked or even what RCIA was. So one day my mom had went to Mass, and the priest had made a comment about how if you need help, if you're coming back to Catholicism and you need guidance, come see me. I know canon law. I can help. I want to bring you in. So that night, my mom made a phone call to the parish and asked what we needed to do. At 30, she made the phone call for me because she felt like it was something that should have been done when I was a baby, and that was her responsibility. So, funny story, when the secretary took the information and gave it to the deacon, who usually does baptisms and whatnot, they thought that I was a newborn. So he called my mom, and they talked, and he realized that I was actually 30 and not a newborn. So now the joke is that I'm a 30-year-old newborn. And then he was like, well, does she want this or do you want this? And it was me who wanted it, obviously. So he and I sat down, and we talked, and I was really amazed by the things that I didn't know. The misconceptions that even I had, even though I had gone to the Catholic Church. I had never been outside of the Catholic Church. I mean, that was all we did. So we sat down and we talked, and one of the first things that he said to me was that the Bible is not a science book or a history book. It is a book used to present God's truth to us. My mind was blown. That was one of my big hang-ups, was that some of the science was questionable. So I was mind blown that I didn't know these things, that I had lived my entire life and didn't know some of these things. We talked about the Mary issue, about people thinking that we pray to Mary. I knew what intercession was at that point. I had that conversation over and over again. We don't pray to Mary. We don't pray to Mary. We pray for we pray for Mary to intercede. There's a video coming on intercession one day soon. So, come back. Hit subscribe. And then we talked about how people seem to think that Catholics think that non-Catholics automatically go to hell. Not what we think. Not what we think. First of all, the only person who decides who goes to heaven or who goes to hell is God. His judgment is the last call on that. So we don't know. We don't know. He brings people to him any way he wants to. He's amazing. The most common answer that I have heard is that non-Catholics who don't know better, or who have never had a reason to question their own religion because it's something that's been in it's how they were raised, it's how their parents were raised, and those who wanted to convert but never had the chance to can and do go to heaven. No one on earth can know with certainty who's going to heaven. That's God's decision, not ours. It's ultimately up to God. It's up to God. And that made total sense to me. It made total sense to me. Like, we don't get to decide these things. So God is amazing. Be kind, be nice, be a good person. We also talked about the Catholic Church being anti-women. Sure, women cannot be priests. Women cannot be deacons currently. But there is an above average for all the churches amount of women in non-priest leadership roles in the Catholic Church. I mean, even my church, but the women run just about all of the ministries. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Our leadership is very strong with women. We're very traditional. We have a very traditional outlook. But, I mean, we have a woman in our church who is called the crown of creation. We're not anti-women. We're not anti-anyone. Come to church. Please, come to church. So, my experience in RCIA was a little bit non-typical. When I first spoke with the deacon, I was under the impression that the process was going to be about a year and a half long, because of when I had started. I started at the end of November in 2015. So the plan was that I would go a year and then to the following Easter Vigil. But then we talked, and the deacon realized that, like, I had made this decision. I had lived my life believing that the Catholic religion was right for me, knowing what that meant. So I ended up going through RCIA in about 5 months. November, December, January, February, March. 4 months. It was very quick. It was very, very quick, which is not usually how RCIA works. But I spent a lot of time preparing. I was praying about it daily. I was watching videos about or going through RCIA. There was a really great series. I can't find it anymore. I listened to the entire thing. I was on a road trip by myself it's about a 20-hour drive one way. So I was in the car for a really long time, and I just kept listening to YouTube videos about RCIA, like, the whole time. I had meetings with the deacon, and there was somebody else that was going through RCIA with me who was baptized at the same time I was. So we met weekly, just about, but I spent a lot of time praying and preparing and making sure that I was ready, because I was never rushed by anyone to decide what, if I wanted to be baptized that year or not. But ultimately that's what happened. So I got my sacraments in March of 2016 at the Easter Vigil Mass. It was beautiful. The Vigil Mass is probably one of my absolute favorites. It was really great. It was really great. I also made a fool of myself. So when I was nervous. I mean, you guys saw my last video. I was nervous, and the priest said, "Peace be with you." And the only answer that I could think of was, "And also with you." And I knew that wasn't right anymore. So I just kind of stood there, like, staring at him. And the deacon goes, "Oh, we didn't go over this. The response is, 'and also with you.'" And I was like, I know this. I couldn't talk. I was speechless. Oh, I felt like such a dork. So yeah, other than that, it was really great. We went afterwards and sat with our families and our godparents and the priest and the deacon and the deacon's family, and we broke the Easter fast together and ate Polish bread, which was amazing. It was really great. But yeah, that was my atypical RCIA story. So tell me your story. I want to know about what your conversion was like, or if you're interested in converting, or what the holdups are, or tell me about your religion. So comment below, subscribe, like, hit the little dingy button so that you know when I post videos. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.